Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm just going to hang for a couple more minutes. Our instructor should be joining us here in a second.
How's it going, Aaron?
Hey, good. So what ended up happening there with the
tech orientation? Yeah, I had to reschedule it.
Okay.
I don't know what was going on. I think maybe because I was 3 minutes late that they just started, or maybe there's nobody showed up. I don't know. Did anybody else have a tech orientation today? They got in?
I don't think so.
Okay. No big deal. I'll just do it next week.
Yeah, that's annoying. Sorry about that. I don't know.
Yeah, it sucked, but it's okay. I'm gonna hide my screen for just a second. I'm stuffing my face with bacon.
Hey, Shauna, how's it going?
Hi, good.
All right, awesome. All right, it's 1:02. Let's get rocking and rolling, guys. So we'll check in how we usually do. Just want to see how everybody's doing with their contacts, cards, database, and home previews, and see how lead generation went for everybody today, since we did kind of skip it yesterday with a more special presentation. Oh, Mike, that's right. You're off for a second. So Jason.
Everything's going good. I made a couple new contacts this morning. Called about, I don't know, 15, maybe 16 people. Got a hold of maybe 5 or 6 of them. Sent out a couple of emails and just trucking along.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Jeff, how about you? How's it going over there?
Well, I'm caught up with all my classes, so I feel good about that. I still don't have any people in my database. I added my wife and my daughter. I did make a phone call to a friend that I haven't seen in 40 years. So I can't really call him a friend, but anyway, we had a chat, and I'm going to send him information, and he's a painter. So I'm going to refer him to any clients that need painting. That's about it.
Awesome. Thank you. Mike, are you available?
Yep.
Sorry, I know you had to get off there for a second.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, I was just eating some breakfast, kind of breakfast lunch. So yeah, I got to touch down on my adding a few people to my database, just some like yourself and other associates I've met recently. Still trying to add more people to that. I got to do an open house on Saturday with Hannah. That was really helpful. Got to learn a bit more about how to interact with people and go about that process. Also it was funny because we got to put out signs, and I went to go ask this neighbor if I could put a sign out, and she was very, very rude. She was like, "No, you cannot do that at all." And I was like, "Okay, that's why I'm here. That's why I asked." And she ended up actually showing up to the open house and being super friendly. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, I got my headshots done, kind of just working on the other stuff in the background. So yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you got that experience with the open house. Hannah's great, and yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, she's been great. She's been teaching me a lot. She showed me how instead of doing the sign-in sheet, she kind of asks them as she goes. But I kind of like that approach.
Say that again. What was that?
She doesn't do like the sign-in sheets that some people typically do. She kind of just lets them come in and then ask them questions as they go around. So
Awesome. Cool.
yeah, I kind of like that approach. It's works pretty well.
Gabriella, can you tell us how your lead gen went today?
Yeah, so I'm part of a team, so I got like a different thing going on there, but she's having me do these Ignite classes as like additional training, but we have a lot of leads, but yes, can never stop. You can never do enough lead generation, right? So I've done mailers when I first joined the team, getting the word out as much as I can, right? But we do like to send like little gift cards to anyone who has passed along my information. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing. We're happy to have you here.
Thanks.
Okay, who did I miss here? Is it Linnea?
Yeah, hi.
Is that right?
I don't know if I saw this on Facebook, so I don't even know if I'm allowed to be in this, but I'm with Keller Williams Capital City Cornerstone team. I haven't gone to any of the other ones, so let me know if I need to go, but okay.
You're more than welcome, yeah.
Okay, cool, thanks. Lead generation has been good. I just went to a Wake Up Wednesday here in Dallas. Well, actually, it's in Independence, open for Dallas and Independence and Monmouth. And I met like 20 people at that, exchanged different things, been reaching out to them all day. And I've just been catching up with people, old coworkers and things, and asking them about how they're doing and stuff. So it's been good.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Lucita, how are things going with you today? Where are you at?
Oh, sorry.
There you
Good.
are.
Good. What I've been
Good to see
doing
you.
is, can you hear me?
Yeah, good to see you.
Yes. What I've been doing is just reaching out to my church. So that's how I'm trying to promote myself more.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then Melissa, how are things going with you?
Things are going well. I'm with joined my husband back in January, working right now as his executive assistant, but I'm working to get my license. We've been doing a lot of mailers, Facebook, lots of, out and about communicating with people and talking to them about what we do. And, we've got things set up with command through emails, et cetera. So we've got pretty good traction as far as our contacts go.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So today for Find Your Business, we have Shauna Wright from our Capital City Market Center. Shauna has a master's degree in business with a concentration in human resources and entrepreneurship. She has been licensed since September 2016 and a KW agent since 2017. She's served in various volunteer roles during her time here at KW, including Technology Ambassador, ALC in 2020 and 2021, and consistently one of the top 10 solo agents out of Capital City. She has a passion for mentoring the next generation of high quality and high producing agents. And so for a Find Your Business, I will turn things over to Shauna. Thanks for being here.
Awesome. Okay, I have one question for you. I have a little pop-up on my screen that says, it's giving me two options to reclaim host or stay as co-host. Do I reclaim it? Okay.
Go ahead and reclaim, yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, cool beans. And hopefully, like, we will be doing this with a minimal amount of technical difficulties. I think I have it all set up with the PowerPoint and the videos kind of preloaded. Thank you for the introduction. Remind me your name, though. I'm not sure that we've actually met prior to today.
I'm Aaron.
Aaron, hi. Okay, well, thank you, Aaron, so much. And thank you guys for being here. And just a couple of things before we start. Number one, Zoom trainings are great. And they're even greater, like if you can have your video on, if you're in a place where you can do that. And I'm going to try to make it as active between us and conversation as possible. So feel free to unmute yourself, and then anyone, show of hands, you guys know how to do the little raise hand emoji or like on your reactions? Okay, so, or you can raise your hand if your video is on, that'll work too, but show of hands for who's on a laptop today and not their phone. 2 or, okay. Well, for those of you on an actual computer, if you don't want to unmute and remute yourself all the time, you can press the space bar and it will unmute you temporarily. So if you press the space bar, you can start talking and then let go, and that will remute your audio. So that's like just a little quick tip if you're on a computer. Otherwise, if you're on your phone, it's all good. You guys see the microphone button and you can just click it. I'm going to try to keep this interactive. And another quick show of hands on who has their materials in front of them as far as the Ignite handbook for today's class, like the actual book. Okay, cool. So maybe about half. So, okay, it's fine if you don't have it, but I think what we'll do is right at the beginning here, I'm going to have you guys follow along with me and we'll navigate to where you can find the course material, because there are a couple of activities in today's class that you'll need the book for. And we can do this one of 2 ways. We can take a quick vote. If you guys are not in a position where you can go on to the MyKW or KW Connect Ignite material and download the material, when we get to the activities, I can always just put the page up on the screen. And if you guys want to follow along with like notebook paper, you can do it that way too. One of the activities is like a grid that you'll have to draw and then like fill some stuff in. So in the chat for me, if you could put, if you would prefer to just follow along and have me put the activity on the screen, or if you want to get the material, just, I want to take a quick poll to see where we're at with that. And does everyone know how to, okay, follow along is great. Thank you, Melissa. Jesse wants the material. Jason can follow along. Okay, perfect. Mike, okay, follow along. Perfect. Okay, so really quick, and this will serve you guys well in upcoming classes as well. I'm going to share my screen, and it'll probably take us about 45 seconds to find the material online. So for those of you who said you would rather have the material, I'm going to kind of show you the breadcrumb trail on how to get there. Let's see if we can do this. I've already kind of made it to like where the materials are at, so I'm going to back it up for a minute. And so you'll want to open a web browser and go to KW Connect. Sure. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, cool. Okay, so here we are at KW Connect. You can go to training and resources and all of that, but right now, because they're just in the midst of relaunching material and like, navigating in between units, I'm not going to take you the normal route to get to this material. I'm just going to show you like the shortcut. So if you're on this screen, there's a little magnifying glass here on the right-hand side. And if you click it, it opens the search bar. And all you have to do is just type the word Ignite in there and then hit search. And then scroll down. Like it'll look like it didn't find anything, but if you scroll down, you should be able to see a couple of links here. And this one that says Ignite Classic, that's what we're teaching out of today. And if you hit the course materials little button, it will take you to a page that looks like this. This page is not altogether helpful, but there's 3 red buttons down at the bottom of the page right here. One says student resources, the other one is for instructors, and then there's a tracker. So for you all, you would just click on student resources, and then it opens up this grid that's like red and white. And you can see that they have it organized by power session. So power session 1, 2, and 3. Today we're doing number 3, find your business. So what you guys will see here in this block is that there's a link to the mission. I would download that. That's like a checklist of homework and different like action items that you'll need to complete essentially this part of the onboarding and training process. The cool thing about these is when you do download them and you keep them as a PDF instead of printing them out on paper, there's links that you can just follow, video links and like links to different resources, and it'll just take you straight there. And then just make sure that when you're following the link for the manual, that you choose the US version. So that's right here, this Power Session 3 Manual US. So you would just click that, and then it will open up a web-based PDF version of the material. So for our purposes today, this is being stored in the cloud using a third-party vendor. I think I can actually paste the link right into our session, so you guys can just click on it too. Perhaps. Let me get back to my toolbar here. Chat. Everyone. Okay. Okay, try that out. And Jesse, if you want to try that link and see if it just loads the PDF right away, that would be awesome. That way I'll know for the future if that is a trick that we can use. Now that I've shared my screen, I just have to figure out how to get back to the class. Where is it? I have my toolbar, but not my. Okay. Well, I'm gonna start the PowerPoint first. Excuse the puppies. Just 1 second. I'm gonna mute myself. Okay, would someone unmute and do me a favor and tell me what you guys see on your side right now? Because my like Zoom window completely went away. I have you guys on video and I've got my toolbar, but I don't have
I
like.
see your home screen with a little tent and a cool
Okay.
solar
Okay,
system.
perfect. So I'm just gonna pretend like everything's groovy and we're gonna start the slideshow and just go from there. Okay, now are you guys seeing the find your business
Yep.
session 3? Okay, perfect. Excellent. Okay, we're gonna skip over the expectations and action reveal portion because, you know, essentially you guys did that at the beginning and, you know, went over contacts and stuff. I would touch base just super quick just to get a feel for how familiar you guys are with the daily activities as far as the 10-4, right? 10-4, you know, 10 contacts, 10, you know, all of that stuff. And you guys are viewing 10 properties a week. And yes, everyone's like familiar.
10-4.
And okay, cool. And who all has been mailing out the thank you cards and doing that? Yes. Any success on that or like feel good moments or, you know, because at first I know when I was a new agent, I can remember. In fact, I was sitting in the training room when Ignite was in person and Amy McLeod was the gal teaching the class that day. And I can remember I was very stressed out about sending out these thank you notes in the mail with like real postage and everything. I mean, I was a baroque when I started in real estate. So I'm like, gosh, that's just a lot of cost. That's 50 cents every time I send one. I'm supposed to do that 10 times a day at the least, and then continue to do that every day. And is that going to really bring me business? And it was just this whole thing in my head. But, you know, as I started doing it, I found that the result was really great because people would reach back out and they, you know, then it would create opportunities for phone calls and connections and lunches or, you know, the good stuff. Has anyone gotten to the place where they feel like they've been getting some traction? You guys need to eat lunch. You're awfully quiet. Anyone?
I just barely had sent some out. No word yet on that, surprisingly. I think I just sent them out, yeah, last week. So I guess we'll see.
And who did you send them out to? Was it like a follow-up to a phone call or a meeting that you had?
It was some friends who had told me they had shared my information to someone that they knew was like looking to buy or something. So it was like a little thank you, right? For passing on
awesome.
information, yeah. With like it was like a $5 Starbucks gift card too as well.
Oh, perfect. So, and then you sent them out last week?
Yeah.
So they should be getting them this week, obviously, or they should have them by now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So maybe, yeah. So I'm just waiting to see if, you know, it wasn't that many, it was just like a few, but still.
Totally. And you know what I would do? It's kind of I call it cheating, but at first I felt like it was cheating, but it's just totally part of the lead generation process. But after you send those out, especially if you're doing gift cards in them, you can call them, like wait 3 or 4 days and then call them back. Hey, I just wanted to check and make sure that my card got to you. Did you get your coffee? You know what I mean? Just chit chat. And, you know, I was like, what kind of coffee did you get? Cool. And yeah. That's my favorite. I like the caramel macchiato, whatever. You know, it's just another way to build a relationship and make a touch. There's gratitude involved for them because they would have given you that referral even without the gift card. When they receive it, it's just like another little piece of gratitude. So
yeah,
I love the idea. Doing the note cards. And if you're not already doing them, I really encourage you to do them because in the scheme of things, in the scope of your whole business, and you guys are all at different financial places in your business, but like it may feel like a big investment of time or money, or it may not. But either way, even if it's not feeling like an investment for you, it definitely is one of the, I think, highest impact activities outside of a phone call or like meeting someone for coffee and really getting belly to belly. So that's all I have to say. That was my soapbox about the daily 10-4 and just that I'm in love with sending out cards of any kind for any reason. I just find excuses to do it. And sometimes I will take like folks from my Facebook page and I'll see like if they post about a sick dog or a sick kid or just anything going on in their life. Maybe their kids, you know, have gone to state championships or anything. Like I will find reasons why to send them a little note and just get it off of social media and be like, hey, you know what? I saw your post about Johnny. He went to the state championships. You know, that is so exciting. I'm cheering him on from here, you know, and then just drop it in the mail. So anywho, I'm gonna make all your guys' faces like a little bar on the side so I can still see my slides. Okay, so we've set aside about 20 minutes as a part of this class to do some lead generation activities today. Did any of you prepare a call list or could easily access one to make some phone calls? Just show of hands is fine, or put it in the chat. Is the somewhat was somewhat a response to the phone call list? Or did I miss that from earlier? And a quick update that that PDF link that I put in does in fact work to get to the material. So that's awesome. Okay, you guys. So here is what I will challenge you to do. We're like I'm gonna skip forward a little bit just conceptually, because there's a part of today's class where we talk about getting strategic with your sphere of influence and identifying the folks that you want to be in contact with more than others. And so since I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume you guys don't have a call list and you didn't bring one to class, probably because no one prepared you in advance to be, ready for this activity. So what I'm going to say is, like, you all have your cell phones. We're still going to do the activity. What I want you to do is take a couple of minutes to think about, 4 or 5 people in your life that love you like a ton. They're your biggest cheerleader. When you told them you were getting your real estate license, they were floored and absolutely for it. They're like all about it. And those are the people you call right now. And you can mute yourselves and just get on the phone. For accountability purposes, it'd be cool if you all left your video on. I'm going to mute myself too, so that you guys can concentrate and there won't be a bunch of noise in the background. But call, those 3 to 5 people and just tell them that, you're really excited. You're launching your business. You're taking a training class today. And part of that is practicing some scripts around lead generation. And you just love it if they could spend a few minutes on the phone with you. And of course, they're going to say yes, because they love you. And then you just say, like, you go through the script. In your manual, there is a script for new to real estate in there, and you can totally use it. Or you can just be yourself and use whatever script is going on in your head. So the goal is, hey, it's me. I'm making this call to practice, but it's for real too. And I just want to say I'm new to real estate. I'm building my business, but I have a whole team of really excellent realtors who are behind me, supporting me and mentoring me. And so I'm ready to take your real estate leads whenever they come across, in your world. So if the average person statistically hears from, 7 to 10 people every single year who are either selling or buying or investing in real estate. So statistically, that's a thing. And this is where you begin to train your sphere of influence. So if you make the calls and to say, hey, statistically, you're going to hear from 7 to 10 people this year who are interested in looking into selling, buying, or investing in real estate. And I'd love it if I could be your exclusive resource for that. Would that be something that you could do for me? And you have to ask, like, make the ask. Would that be something that you can do? Because you're asking for a commitment and you're establishing a relationship. And then they're going to say, of course. And if they don't say, of course, they may have some kind of a thing like, well, I'm a little bit nervous because you're new. Whichever thing that they do say, you'll be able to help them understand that you have all of the resources at your disposal and have taken an appropriate amount of training at this point to help them at a professional level. And then you'll go into the conversation about how can they give you real estate referrals. And what that looks like is, people are super busy, and for the most part, they're going to fit their real estate investing into the nooks and crannies of their already hectic lives. So as much as I would love to send you a card with 5 or 10 business cards that you can pass around, I also am just going to send you my contact card, and it has all my professional information in there, including my email and cell phone number. And what I'd love is if when you run into someone who's looking to do a real estate transaction, no matter what it is, even if they're just curious and they want a price for the home or need to find out about equity, like literally anything that has to do with real estate, and make sure that they know this is including if they need a referral to a great contractor in the area, someone to do yard maintenance, gutters, like you're a resource for all of that stuff. And so it doesn't matter what kind of referral it is, you just want to be consultative to their sphere of influence as well. So you're going to send them the contact card and let them know that they can actually send that contact card to their friend or family member, and that you would appreciate that they also share, with their friend or family member's permission, their contact information, along with what may be the most convenient time for a follow-up call. And that's how you do it. But make sure that you ask that they make a 2-way exchange of contact information, and just let them know that you're not going to spam them or anything like that. You'll just follow up when they're comfortable with a follow-up. And that is how it's done. So if you can do that 3 to 5 times today, you'll start to establish what I like to call your allied resources. And those are the handful of people who will bring you the most leads that will probably convert at the highest level because they have the best things to say about you. Does that all make sense? Okay, cool. So it is 1:30. We're going to do this for 20 minutes. So we'll be live again at 1:50 to continue with training, but just try to do 3 to 5 phone calls. And then after the activity, we'll kind of get together as a group and I'll get your feedback on how it went. Okay. Maybe I can figure out how to mute myself. There we go. Okay, ready, set, go. Okay, everyone, just wanted a quick reminder, we're gonna wrap this up in about 5 minutes. So if you're on a call, finish it up here in the next five or so minutes and we'll get going. Okie dokie. Everybody get finished up? Okay. Everybody unmute. Well, maybe not all at the same time, but let's unmute and talk about it. How did it go?
It went good. I got about 7 phone calls in. Got a hold of 3 people, talked with them for a little while. It went well.
Good. Were you able to have a referral relationship conversation with any of the 3 that you were able to touch base with?
Yeah, one of them I did. 2 of them were kind of in a hurry to get off the phone, but one of them said that they would refer me. So one good.
Excellent. Well, just remember, like, one good, and you can do this activity, you know, day in and day out.
Every day, yeah. Yep.
Establish your, you know, core network of folks, but just think of it like, I don't know, Jason, do you have a goal in mind for how many transactions you would like to close in a year?
I do not. I'm still just kind of part-time doing the whole thing. I still have other ways of making an income. So right now, this is just a part-time thing. No real aspirations or goals, just getting my feet in the door and kind of, you know, warming up to the business.
Okay. Well, then I'll just throw out an example. Let's just say you do 1 a month. So that's 12 a year.
That'd be awesome.
By, yeah, that's great. Cause it'd be about 60 grand more income, you know?
Right.
So let's say you want to do 1 a month, and you've established 1 referral relationship, and you can pretty much guarantee that they're going to call you 6 or 7 times this year with a referral. And I would say about half of them end up working out and doing business, as long as you are a good problem solver and you can consult with them about what their situation is, and you use some of the techniques you'll learn in Ignite to kind of move them along. So each person that you establish this referral relationship with, you can pretty much guarantee 3 to 4 units from. So if your goal is 12 deals, you know, you only need 4 or 5 people to be sending you referrals, and then you have a pretty solid business. And then that's like the easy button. You know what I mean? There's a ton of ways to lead generate in real estate, but this, having like a core group of folks that you can just stay in really good relationship with, and that you know that they're going to call you every single time that they've got something, is really cool. I've built my whole business on this concept, and you know, I've done pretty well for myself. It's my one thing that I do. I do real estate as a full-time gig, and in my first year, I closed 12 deals without any training from Keller Williams. It was just kind of on accident, almost, just by, you know, being in a relationship with people. But then when I came over to Keller Williams and I took my first set of Ignite classes, this was like predated the PC program. So I was just taking straight Ignite without additional coaching. And I took Ignite every quarter for 4 quarters. I took it every quarter for the entire year because I found that it held me accountable to my lead generation activities. And I felt like each new person who taught class had a new, you know, tip or trick or like a different viewpoint. And it was really refreshing to kind of get that infusion into my business. But I went from 12 to 24 transactions in my second year, just by coming to Keller Williams and just doing the things. So I want to encourage you guys that this, it's simple, but it's not easy, because you have to get past your ego and like your fear and just start getting into relationship with people. But I literally, for my first 3 years in business, I only did business with folks that I knew or who knew folks that I knew. And I built my business up to, you know, about 24 units a year. And that grossed me around $130,000 to $140,000 a year. So it was the best money that I've ever made. And so I want to encourage you that, like, this is definitely doable, and you just do the activities and you show up daily and, you know, make the notes and remember to follow up, and things will just develop for you. So, okie doke.
I had a question.
Yeah, Mike.
So all your like close friends in your sphere, do you actually email them and send them stuff out in the mail all the time, or?
So yes, but, but I'm not doing like the canned emails to my close friends and family. So, I've really tried to be intentional with the kind of relationship that I build there. So my entire touch campaign you know, Keller Williams does a great job of teaching you the things and give you the numbers and the broad strokes, and they are going to allow you and empower you to do it how you want to do it. For me, it was relational for sure, because that's just my personality. So right away, I set up a schedule with all of the folks that I knew, and I have a pretty small sphere. So this is all about encouraging you guys to just have a really good outlook on how your business is going to grow. I think I started the business with about 86 people that I could list that I like knew. And most of my sphere, like they're salt of the earth folks. They're just like, half of them didn't even own houses, you know, they were renters. The other half owned houses, but they were like just regular, you know, starter homes, or, you know, really rural. My family is from like the Lebanon, Sweet Home, Brownsville area. And so it was just, they're simple people. And I had this huge drunk monkey, like that they're never going to be able to give me business. I'm going to have to like do business with strangers. And it was a whole thing in my mindset. But when I started taking the training at Keller Williams, they really encouraged me to like focus on my sphere of influence and just build, you know, ask for business and build the relationships. And I did that, and it worked. So what I do for my sphere of influence is everyone, of course, gets a birthday card in the mail. The birthday card is branded. So just because it's a birthday card doesn't mean it can't also be a, hey, remember, I'm a realtor. So I just brand it on the backside. And I normally throw in a couple of business cards, and I throw in a gift card to somewhere. One year I did movie tickets for all the birthday cards, and I write them up like in the fourth quarter. I do all of my marketing and my business planning for the year. So like I'll sit down October, November, and December when it's a little bit slower. And I'm like pre-stuffing the envelopes. I pre-hand write all the birthday cards for my entire sphere, you know. Now it's up to about 365 people. So I'll just like, I write out all the birthday cards in the fourth quarter. One year I did movie tickets to this little local cinema that did like food and movies, and a little gift card for a meal. And then one year I just did coffee cards. I think one year I created a strategic partnership with a local massage person for a 20% off of a massage for their birthday. And that's what I sent out. And I did like a little coupon code so that I could measure how many folks went in and used their coupon. So there's just little things like that that you can do that won't cost you a bunch of money out of pocket, but it's still really nice for people to receive. So birthday cards is one. I do the quarterly phone call. So I'll call them. And I don't call them specifically to talk about real estate, but you kind of sandwich it in, you know? So it's like, hey, you know, Paul, how are you? I've been thinking about you. How are the kids, whatever. And then, you know, oh, they're good, Shauna. How are you? You know, how's business? They always ask that question. And so
what's the best way to ask your friends and family, like for their address or stuff like that without sounding too business like? You have like a certain approach you do?
Family, you kind of like know where they live, but you maybe don't know the address.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, Paul, by the way, I wanted to make sure and send Susie a birthday card this year, and I can drive to your house, but short of stalking you and writing down your address, you want to shoot me your address so that I can, you know, put it on the envelope. That'd be great.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
So it's like, or I can't remember your house number. Can you remind me what that was? Like,
okay.
Just make it like really casual.
Just casual. Okay, cool. That helps. Thank you.
Yeah. So I do the quarterly phone calls. I do the birthday cards, and then I send Christmas gifts to my entire sphere. I keep the budget like between $3 and $5. And so it's normally a craft or something that I do with my kids. And then we put them in little bubble mailers. And like I put like fake snow and a little bell that rings. So when they get it in the mail, it's like already making noise like Christmas. And it's just cute, and it's a holiday oriented. It's like my favorite holiday. So I do that, a little Christmas gift and a Christmas card, and they go out separately. So I'll send the Christmas cards out at the beginning of the December, and then I send the Christmas gifts out like 2 weeks into December. So they get it right around Christmas time. And so I do that, and I do a Thanksgiving pie giveaway. I think you guys have probably heard about that. It's pretty popular in the Keller Williams world. when I was new, because I didn't have past clients, which is how most folks run their pie giveaway, is to focus on their past clients. But as a new agent, you can do the same thing. You know, the pies at Costco, I think they might be up to $7 with inflation now. They used to be $5 a piece. But say your sphere is only about 100 people. Well, you go spend $100 or spend $700 on pies. It's once a year. It's a business expense. And then you call everyone and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that this year my business is, you know, giving away Thanksgiving pies for the holiday. We're going to deliver them out. If you don't mind, right after we get off the phone here, I'll shoot you a link to the order form. And I just set up like a Google order form because it's free. And so they just click the link in the text message, and then there's like a drop-down menu. You can have them select apple, pumpkin, or pecan. And then you've got their name and the pie order. And then it like walks them through like where they want it delivered. And then there's like a little thing that says like, is this your home address, or like where you'll be hosting the family get together? And they'll just answer a few questions, and then you'll get that in a big spreadsheet, which you can then copy and paste and upload into your database. And then you can tag them all with 2022 pie giveaway. And you've just gotten like a bunch of addresses and phone numbers. Make sure you ask them for the best phone number to reach them at on that day, because you want to deliver the pies out like the day before Thanksgiving. So make sure you have someone covering your actual Thanksgiving cooking, because it's kind of a mess. But that has been phenomenal, because you make the first phone call, and there's a series of touches that are involved in this whole situation, but you like make the first phone call, send the text message, they put in the order. If you haven't received orders from your whole list, then you can send out a reminder text with the link again. Hey, just a reminder, I'm going to go buy pies next week and I really need this order. You can get in here and fill this out real quick. That'd be great. And then you do another touch. And you can still call everyone on the list. If they have ordered, you thank them for their order, confirm that they ordered the pecan, and confirm, just say, I just wanted to confirm the details. It looks like I'm delivering it to 123 Maple Street. Best contact number for the day is 555-9925. Does that all sound right? And they go, yeah, this is great, thanks. And then when you're on that phone call, just say, hey, just so you know, and to keep in mind over the next couple of weeks, we're doing a special with the pie giveaway. If you can whip up a referral before Thanksgiving and shoot it over to me, I'm going to throw in a can of whipped cream for your pie. And then that's how the referrals come in. And a lot of times you won't get referrals until the day you deliver. So I just order, like, I just bring extra whipped cream just in case. And then if they haven't given me a referral when I deliver the pie, I'll ask them again, like, did you guys end up coming up with any referrals? And they'll have like their entire family there, right? And you're delivering the pie into their family celebration. And a lot of times they'll introduce you and walk you around and whatever. And then you ask about the referrals, and they're like, oh yeah, Susie over here is doing, you know, she was thinking about buying or whatever. And so you meet Susie and you have a conversation and, you know, share a few laughs, and then you throw the whipped cream at them and you're on your way. So that's a really fun one. And then I with my very close referral partners, I try to take them to lunch at least once a year, my treat, or like a coffee date quarterly. Or, you know, if they drink it, you can take them to a bar and have a couple of shots or whatever. Like, just kind of read your audience, you know, do what is enjoyable to them. And like with some of my referral partners, I actually just go and babysit their kids so they can go out on a date night. So there's all kinds of stuff like that, but it's really building the relationship, and then they just end up reciprocating because they love you so much. So, you know, that's kind of what I do. And then oftentimes in those quarterly phone calls, when they ask you how business is doing, I always like pre-develop kind of a script that I'm going to use. Like if interest rates recently increased, or like say it's freezing, or freezing weather is like on the horizon, there's always something going on where you can say, you know, I've been talking to all of my clients lately about XYZ things. So I just wanted to make sure you knew about that, and ask you if you want me to follow up with an email with like additional resources. And then, you know, and then that's when they'll get the email. And then of course, everyone who's in my sphere of influence or like tight referral sphere, I add them as favorites, like when on Facebook. So if you have them on Facebook, you can go into the settings for their contact and follow them, but you can also like make them, I don't know if it's called making them a favorite, but I think it's something like that, where you definitely like they show up in your feed because you change the settings on their contact. And so then they show up in your feed all the time. And that's the other touches, right? So you want to do a minimum of 50 touches with people that you know. That's a lot of touches throughout the year. That's like, it feels overwhelming, but if you're connected on social, and you make the quarterly call and you take them to lunch and you do coffee and you do the pies and you do the Christmas card and you do the birthday card, well, pretty soon, you know, you're already there. And so my social touches is where I do all of the other touches outside of a manual email following up on something that they needed. And my trick for that is that I go in at least once a month and I go like into their feed on their page. And like, I don't go too far back because it's creepy, but you go to like the last maybe 1 or 2 weeks of posts and, you know, heart them, like them, make sure you comment. When you comment, make sure and end it with a question, because then they'll respond back to you. And that just juices up the algorithm on Facebook so that they see more of your content when you do post it. And then I always try to pick like one post that's like super funny or super touching or whatever. And I send them a direct message instead of commenting on the actual post. I'll send them a message in Messenger about the post or about whatever's going on. And I'll try to end that one with a question too. That way they start talking to me in Messenger. And then we just talk back and forth for a few minutes, and that really juices up the algorithm. So if you know, Facebook knows you're talking to them in Messenger, you're commenting and liking their posts, and they're interacting back with you, then Facebook knows they like you. And then they'll start putting your content in front of them like really frequently. Then you just, you know, I do business posts on my business page, and then I go in from my personal page and share my business content to my personal page and share it to my story. And then they see my business posts. So I don't necessarily have to reach out about business every single time. They just see the activity. I'm doing an open house, I'm posting about that. I do a weekly market update. Of course, the new listings get posted. All of my congratulatory closing things get posted, short little stories about stuff I'm learning in real estate, news articles, whatever. So that's kind of how I do it with my sphere of influence.
Thank you. That was very helpful.
Okay, so anyone else about the calls? Anyone else have a success story they'd like to share or talk about?
Well, I got on late because I had a BNI meeting that ran till 1:30, and I had to stuff something.
BNI, that's a referral network, right?
Yeah, Business Network International.
Yeah, awesome.
They're the best referrals on the planet, because you get to know your group of people in your chapter and other chapters, but particularly your chapter, and you get to basically you get to know, like, and trust them. You get to learn their business, learn what kind of clients they're looking for. And every week they tell you what they're looking for, and you write it down. And then when you come in contact with those people, or you think about them, then you know who to send those to for those answers. It's a ridiculously effective and cost-effective way of networking. Anyways, I got in late. So in about 5 minutes, I made a few calls. Only got through to one, and that wasn't actually the person, it was the receptionist, but it was an elder attorney who our family used a few years back when my dad was in hospice, and found out that attorney had retired, but a younger associate has taken over the firm. So I scheduled an appointment to talk to them next week and talk to him about his clients who are going to be downsizing, moving on to assisted living, independent living, whatever, but selling their homes. And I've done some of that in my investment side of my business, which, you know, buying and flipping stuff, and built relationships with a couple probate attorneys. And so I think that this will be kind of the same type of an opportunity. So call probate attorneys, elder attorneys, any attorneys really, but particularly the ones who work with seniors, because those folks are in transition.
Yeah, that's a really great piece of advice. And I would say definitely make sure that you show up to that meeting with an item of value somehow that you can offer value to that attorney as well, so that you're not just like, what can you do for me? But
Exactly.
so very good. I love it. Anyone else before we move on? We'll take that as a 10-4 notebook. All right, I'm going to go back to the list of videos here so that we can continue on. Maybe I can get the slides to work. Okay, handwritten notes. We're going to skip that, you guys, but I encourage you to write handwritten notes to anyone you've been on a phone call with. It's very effective. And of course, this class is all about lead generation. So for anyone who has the handbook up, we are on page 15. I'm going to actually have to minimize this so I can get to mine. We're going to have a conversation about prospecting and just essentially the long and short of how that works in your business. Maybe if I can find it. There it is. I skipped way ahead in my manual. Here we go. So essentially the question here on page 15, open for discussion, is what are the benefits of prospecting? And I know since I'm sharing my screen, I'm going to kind of like try to hide this answer so we can have an open conversation. Oh, here we go. I'm going to change the way I'm sharing my screen. Okay, cool beans. Now, are you guys seeing the PowerPoint slides? Sweet. Okay, what are the benefits of prospecting? Now, so does everyone understand the difference between marketing and prospecting, first of all? Because otherwise the conversation is just going to go in the wrong direction.
That might be a good thing to clarify.
Perfect. Okay, who was that? Was that Mike?
No, that was Jesse.
Jesse, okay, why don't you, you're up to bat, man. What's the difference between marketing and prospecting?
Oh, well, I was asking for clarification. I think, well, marketing goes out to anyone that you have contact with, while prospecting happens with people that are on the cusp of needing a real estate agent. That's how I would differentiate them.
Yeah, I think that's really, really close directionally, right? You said marketing goes out, prospecting goes out as well, but you're pulling folks in. So here's like my concept of the difference between marketing and prospecting, because you can market to people you know, you can even market to active clients or, you know, whatever. But the difference is like, you know, if anybody of you are ex-military or like, you know, like hunting, but it's basically the difference between a shotgun and a rifle with a scope. Like one is very specifically targeted and it's for the hopes of like killing and capturing today, right? And the other one is more like using a shotgun or casting a net. You're putting your stuff out there, hoping that someone will engage eventually. And marketing is like over time, right? It's over time, many impressions. It's about building market share and presence in a given market, which is why they call it marketing. Like it's about taking market share. Prospecting is where it's at because it's very specifically targeted. You reach out to them and then you're getting them in conversation through a series of questions or prompts to engage them in doing business with you either now or in the future. And that's called prospecting. So that's That's the long and short of it. Why would prospecting, like what, so now that we know that prospecting is where you're reaching out in some way, shape, or form, and you're actively engaging them to do business now or in the future, what are the benefits of prospecting versus marketing? Why prospecting is beneficial?
It's a lot more immediate.
That's right. It is a lot more immediate. Anyone else?
Well, like you said, it's a lot more targeted, right? Versus like throwing a net, like you said, it's just more focused.
Yep, definitely more focused. How about
more engaging too?
Yep, definitely more engaging. I'm gonna drop a hint for like one concept. The hint is one word: control. And what is it that we have control over when we're doing marketing versus, or prospecting versus marketing?
Audience.
Good. Audience. Let's get a little bit more granular and think results or outcome.
I was thinking message.
Yep, you do. You have control over your message. Absolutely. But I think, you know, to devil's advocate, you have control over messaging and marketing too, and the call to action. What you don't have control over is the, is the audience. Essentially, you're just like, it's just shooting out there. And what else you don't have control over is the communication, because you're not actually actively engaged with that person. You're just putting an impression out there and hoping that they eventually reach out. So for me, you know, prospecting puts you in control of filling your pipeline full of leads that are actively engaged with you now. So, and it doesn't matter if you know them or not. Like prospecting, cold calling could be considered prospecting, you know, using a circle dialer, Mojo or Vulcan 7 or, you know, all the things. It's still prospecting because, you know, you just pick a person's house, call them, they answer the phone, then you're engaged. And now you're prospecting that person for a listing or a referral, right? The same thing if you're calling directly to your database or your sphere of influence or, you know, your vendor list or whatever, whoever you decide to call that day, you're prospecting them and it's a direct connection. So that would be the number one thing. Like you have a goal in mind. It's action oriented. You're calling for business now or in the future. And yeah, it's basically taking control of the response rate. So it definitely has a really good impact on conversion. As far as numbers go, like when you send out a mailer, your conversion rate with mailings, and if they're really good mailings, and I mean like they're designed well, they have a good call to action, they're engaging, colorful, all the things, you're still sending out a mailing, and statistically you have to send 10 to 12 mailings before you end up being able to measure a 1 to 2% response rate. That's terrible. It's like send out 100 mailings 10 times and you may talk to 1 or 2 people. You know, I mean, like, yeah. So, but you call 100 people 10 times and you're definitely probably talking to all 100 people eventually and having a conversation and asking for business. You're probably going to get a ton more responses and just have much better results. So that is one thing. It definitely puts you in control of your pipeline, volume, conversion ratio, the whole 9 yards. What about quality? Let's talk about that around prospecting.
Are we talking about?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Are we talking about the quality of the of the lead, or?
Yes, we are talking about the quality of the lead.
Okay. Yeah. There's definitely low quality leads, unmotivated buyers, and there's people that, you know, they need to buy a house in 4 weeks, or, you know, so yeah, I mean that's kind of how I look at it, at least when I'm looking at leads, is they go into, I call them buckets. I don't know what you guys call them, but they go into different buckets, and A buckets are people I will talk to at least once a week, maybe even multiple times a week. But yeah, that's kind of how I go about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're prospecting and you're on the phone with these folks, how are you putting them into the buckets? Like, okay, you're on a phone call. It obviously goes into this is a lead bucket, but then what helps you determine?
Well, it's just the content of what we're talking about. Like, for instance, I have a friend who is looking to sell his house this summer, right? So I think he's, if I remember right, he said July. Okay, July is a few months away still. So he is technically in like the B bucket, where it's like every 2 to 4 weeks I'm talking to him. And then as we get closer, he'll move into the A bucket. That way I can get him and his wife ready and like all of the sprucing up and stuff that they need to be. So like it's literally just what they tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're absolutely right. It's the content of the conversation that allows you to like sort them into the buckets. And what I would say, especially on listings, is listings always take longer than you think to get to the market or to get ready to pull the trigger. And so whenever I take a listing lead conversation, I'm like, great, this is really exciting. Just so you know, if you're looking to list in July, you probably want a good 90 days to prepare. So I feel like I should come out now and just do the walkthrough. It's totally fine if it's not ready. I'm not going to be judging you on the content of your home, but I'm going to bring you some resources. You can stick them on the fridge. And then that way, when you guys have a weekend and you've got time for a little project, you can start slowly working through some of this stuff. And then when you get more ready, I can come back, 30 to 60 days prior to your list date or your ideal date that you want to be live on the market. And we'll do an actual consultation at that time. We'll talk about pricing and marketing strategy then. How does that sound? And then they're like, oh yeah, that's great. And you've got yourself a listing appointment. So you almost kind of made that B person an A person. Like,
yeah, and I would, and for these specific people, they're really close friends. So I see them quite often anyway. So that's why I'm not like, I haven't put them in the A bucket yet, as far as how aggressively I need to be talking to them about real estate, because I see them every other week anyway.
Well, I would just shoot them a list. I don't know if you guys have taken your listing class yet, but you can reach out to Mara or whoever for the resource. There's a list of like 27 things to prepare your home for market. And it's just a one pager. It's like a checklist. I would just have that. I would print a handful of those and keep them in your car. And then that way, if you run into the opportunity to talk to someone about listing their home, it's like the first thing that I give them. I'm like, hey, that's exciting. It can be overwhelming to think about. So I'm just going to give you a resource to start with. And then, we can set up a time to talk later about, strategy, pricing, marketing, but this will get you started. And I'm
for sure. What was that called? I'm sorry.
I think it's the 27, it's like a checklist of 27 items to get your house ready for market. I'm like, I don't know what it's called. But it's normally presented in the Ignite material at some point during a listing class. But I think if you reach out to Mara, she'll have it as a PDF somewhere hanging out.
Okay, perfect.
And then if they're looking, like if anyone's looking to list their home in the next like 6 to 12 months, I'm giving them that list because number one, people start conceptualizing the idea of listing their home way before they ever even engage with you in a conversation. So, by the time they've talked to you, they've probably been like stressing about it. And just human nature, like they are going to enjoy that checklist. It's going to take the stress right out of their whole situation. Because it's like, oh, I don't have to make a checklist. I do not have to do research. My realtor, Jesse, just gave me the answer. And then it creates like all of this loyalty as well, far beyond the point of you ever even signing contractually with them. You've already you've got them. So that
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, a little thing to put in your hat as a tool. Okay. So we have talked about prospecting and essentially that it's just a really good thing. So I think we've beat the horse. I'm I'm going to get back to my PowerPoint slide from current slide. Thanks for hanging in there with me on the technical stuff. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. Okay, so the 4 C's of prospecting, of course, and like I essentially just in my candor here of how I've been giving you examples of conversations, it's a displays kind of this process. Like I do the same thing with every single person. So it's really kind of a mathematical formula on like how you move a conversation along towards a transaction. So the 4 C's of prospecting is what it's called. And it's again about capturing the information, connecting with them, closing, and that doesn't mean closing a deal. That means using sales language in your conversations to close and bring them closer to being transactional with you, like closer to listing with you, closer to signing a buyer's agreement, closer to meeting you at the office, whatever the case may be. So every time you get on the phone with someone, you close on them in some way to move the conversation along. And then it pops down into this cultivate thing. So once you've done capture, connect, close the first time, if they don't convert the first time, you're going to pop them into cultivate. And like you said, follow up every 2 to 4 weeks or every month. It just depends on the person and the bucket that they end up in. But you stir the bucket every once in a while, and then they'll pop back up into that conversation where you can get transactional with them. So that is the composition of prospecting. Okay, and we've talked about sphere of influence. I've been teaching this class for years, so I kind of like, sometimes I skip ahead. So we talked about this, people that know you, love you, trust you, and will do business with you eventually. This next 10 minutes, we do have a activity. It'll be on page 22 of your manual. Let me see if it shows an example. Nope, it doesn't. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate my screen sharing to the manual on page 22 so that those of you who don't have it can do your grid on a piece of paper and do the activity with me. And then those of you who do have the manual printed out, you can write right on the grid on that page. So here we go. New share. I'm going to share that page. And we are going to okay, really quick before we start the activity. This is technically on page 21. Can you guys see this, or do I need to make it fatter?
I can see it fine.
Okay. Yeah, no, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, I made it too big now. Okay, cool. So this is kind of a conceptualization of what your sphere of influence, anybody's normal sphere of influence would look like. And then as you can see on the upper right-hand side of the screen, it even shows like how this would grow exponentially based on, it's like starts with your sphere. And then as you can get connected with people, then you can plug into their sphere. And so it just grows and develops over time. Essentially, it starts with you, and you just use this as a way to like get your creative juices flowing and kind of like get the right mindset going for who you're going to list. But you want to think about immediate family, neighbors, of course, relatives, friends, and spouse if you've got one. And then you'll go a little bit further out in your sphere, and all of these folks along the outside in these circles are still your sphere of influence, but we're talking past coworkers, where you get your hair done at, any of your kids' friends' parents, that's kind of diluted, but how it works, Johnny's mom, and then mechanic, the mail carrier, church members, if you are a church goer, of course, folks in your title company, and I'll tell you, they're a good resource for you, but you probably won't get referrals from them. But they will, number one, help you become very knowledgeable in real estate around title issues, around prospecting. So I would say if you have not spent time with your title rep, do schedule an appointment. It's always fun. They'll take you to lunch or whatever, but I like to schedule with them actually at the title company, because then they'll introduce you to your closing reps, and they can normally like give you a little school you on all the resources they have. Make sure that they schedule you to spend some time with the customer service rep there and show you all of the tools and tricks that they have for finding new business. So again, teachers, doctors, bankers, definitely leverage your social media network. Take that as far as you can go with that. I have an agent on my team who, I know my intro said I was a solo agent, but I started a team last year and I've got 4 agents on my team. One of the gals who joined my team is a new agent. And she's absolutely rocking my socks off. And the way she finds business is like unreal. So she's a homeschool mom. So she teaches, like she's part of this homeschool network. And then she's on a couple of social media groups with other homeschool parents. And then she went on to, which I tell you, this is where like being able to slay your drunk monkeys is very, very good. And it will like change your life essentially, because I had a drunk monkey around these Facebook groups, like the referral network Facebook groups, where it's like the masters in real estate, or, where it's these nationwide networks. I guess I always felt like these networks are garbage. Half the time, these agents are like talking trash about other agents, and it's just not that positive. And I just didn't like the culture inside the groups, but she has remained super active in the groups. And she scrolls through all of the posts every single day and like engages with agents from all around the country. And she's received like 5 referrals from out-of-state agents for, I would call them junk leads, but this gal is just like phenomenal. She will not let anything hinder her mindset. And so she's picked up these clients who are like in a low price point, or, they want bare land that is not developed, just the ones that seem like it would be a nightmare to close. And then she just is like, I'm just going to find them what they need. And she goes out and finds them what they need. And she gets under contract right now as a new agent. She's been doing this for less than a year, and she's got 5 deals in escrow and 3 listings. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So I'm just saying, like, do leverage every avenue that you have. And when you do this activity, make sure and keep in mind, it should be a core value to you, something you're already connected with, or something that you could definitely see yourself doing and not getting tired of. And then just do it every day consistently, because when you show up, the business comes. So that's all I have to say. She's amazing. Okay, so on the next page, 22, this is the actual activity. Can you guys all see that? So it has all these little boxes. So you can make a grid if you want boxes, or just make a list with like heading and then a subheading. But you want to try to come up with like at least 5 people in each category. And the goal is, right now, this is like a brainstorming activity. But the more information, the better. So immediate family, put their name in there. If you've got your cell phone and you've got their number already, put it in there so that you're essentially making your database right now. But don't take so long that, we can't get through the activity. So but do write down names in every single category. And you'll be really surprised how far you can get. A lot of people come into real estate thinking like, I might know 20 or 30 people. And then we have them sit down and do this activity, and they end up with 100 people, just after a day. And then from this list, you can kind of, begin the work of getting all of the different pieces of contact information. If you're not already connected with them on social media, you can work from this list and connect with them on social media. So that's what the name of the game is here in the goal. So I'm going to give you about 10 or 15 minutes to do this activity, and then we'll continue on. Any questions before we start? Okay, awesome. Okay, you guys, when you are done, we've got about 3 to 5 minutes left of this activity. When you're done, go ahead and drop a message to me in the chat. Okay. Are you guys still seeing the grid on my screen? Okay, perfect. I'm gonna switch it back to the PowerPoint. Or I'm actually gonna switch it to my whole screen because I think we've got videos coming up here. Slideshow. Okay, hey, look at that. It's like I knew what we were doing next. So, okay, next we're gonna watch a couple of videos and we'll have a little bit of discussion in between videos. This first one is called Cold Calling with the Real Estate Brothers. And I'm gonna have to press this. I have to press escape on this. I have these videos preloaded and I tested the audio earlier. So please let me know and like do interrupt. I'm gonna bring the chat up, but like please put it in the chat or just unmute yourself. If you can't hear the audio on the videos, stop me and I'll restart the video and figure it out, okay? So I'll pull the chat up just so I can keep an eye on that. And okay, I put it on full screen. Can you guys see the video? Okay, do you see the boxes that are up in front of the video or not? Okay, good. Those are my tools, but I wanted to make sure they weren't going to be in your way. Okay, how's the audio on that? You could not hear it? Oh, I'm Netley. Let me turn it up and see if that works any better. Okay, let's try it again.
No luck.
Shoot. Okay.
Is there an option to share audio as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Good question. Let's see here. If I go multiple advanced sharing options, let me look, because I had this working earlier and I even had a test person go in and make sure that it was going to work. Oh, share sound. I think I figured it out. Okay, we're gonna try it one more time, guys. 1 second. It was very helpful, all the sign language on your videos, so do that again for me. Okay, I'm starting it one more time.
Cool. So I'll say where we're from and then you give production levels. Is that all right? Hi, my name is Dylan Provenche.
I'm Sean Provenche.
We're from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We're the Real Estate Brothers.
2014, we wrote 72 transactions for $47 million.
Sean and I are very lucky because we're actually fairly entrepreneurial in sales. So we were able to just sort of survive by luck and by just sort of being likable and nice.
We had a decent business that wasn't growing.
We did a lot of door knocking originally, but what we found was with bad weather, plus you have to drive to door knock, it was just too much of a wild card.
If we were to grow the business, we needed to add people to our database, and if we were gonna do that, we needed a systematic way that we knew we could achieve results that were predictable. So we just kind of started cold calling
about 3 hours a day, and we found that the results were phenomenal.
Come take a look where we've been this whole time.
You can literally do it from your kitchen.
It's just more time effective.
Yeah.
If you're cheap like we are, you don't want to spend a ton of money on the web or in print. Telephone lines, you pay a monthly bill and you can call all you want. Why don't you come in here, I'll show you the cold calling room. We've got a map where we've broken the entire city into zones. We like to target areas where we have buyers.
It's been scrubbed to the do not call list, and it still represents over 250,000 phone numbers. All of our desks have 3 monitors. We have Mojo in the middle, we have our scripts on the right, and then on the left,
Do some research on the house they're calling for, stuff like that. Cold calling is like adding jet fuel to your car or something. Like it pumps your business up.
we went from making,
What was our first year? Like 70K. And then this year together we did $1.1 million. So this is Sean calling from the Real Estate Brothers. You know what, I'm so sorry to bug you today, but I just noticed that you live. You have to treat cold calling as though it's an appointment. If you don't prioritize it, things will always find their way in and block you from being able to do it. It's the most important thing you can do for your business.
absolutely most important, and you have to quantify it as well. The bold 100 contacts a week is a really, really cool way
To set a bar.
To set a bar and get started and stick to it, whatever your decision is.
I was just wondering, has anything changed in your plans? Are you still thinking this great to get it on the market?
You can't think today was a bad cold calling day, because today doesn't matter. What matters is what you accomplish in a year. And if you just keep adding people to your database and systematically follow up with them and take care of the people who you work for, you'll do great.
You're not always going to have great success every day, but it's by doing it every day that you have great success.
We're gonna be in the neighborhood for the next 2 weeks giving free evaluations. You know what I'd love to do?
I'll say too that one thing that we were afraid of, and I think everyone is just the rejection side of things. People being mean to you on the phone and rude. We have this saying with our team that you're either part of our future or part of our past, and either way it's fine. The people who are rude to us are obviously not going to be part of our future.
I have a chuckle about it. Like honestly, when someone cusses at me or something, I just laugh because it's funny.
Hey, do you think that it might make sense for us to book something tentatively for the weekend?
The more time you spend not on the phone, you're losing money, because that 3 hours of my day is my 20% where I make my money.
Don't get ready to start thinking about how you're going to eventually do something. Just do it. Like
Just do
get
it.
Done.
Stop watching this video, get off your butt and go start dialing numbers and talking to people. Just get on the phone.
Yeah, and if you hate money, don't do it.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Okay, I love that video. And I'm like not a cold caller by nature, but just the pure energy from those guys and their story makes me want to do it. So what did you guys think about it?
To me, it's like the more spaghetti you throw against the wall, the more some's going to stick. It's numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the only difference is like when you throw spaghetti on a wall, it's mess. And like when you're cold calling, it's a little bit cleaner. I would say, you know, I think that one stumbling block that a lot of new agents get into is that we teach you through Ignite, we're going to present a lot of different ways to build your business. And I've seen time and time again, agents want to do everything all the time. Like they just want to do everything. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you do not have time to do everything. And by committing to doing more than you should, it ends up turning off the consistency piece. And so, like you said, Michael, it's totally a numbers game. But if you can't show up and do the same thing every single day, you're not going to find that you get measurable results because you're not being consistent. Like you do cold calling a couple times a week for a couple of weeks. And, you know, maybe the first 6 times that you did it, you had bad cold calling days, or you just weren't there yet with your scripts or whatever the case may be. But if you don't keep showing up and keep doing it, you won't get to the part where you get to enjoy it being a numbers game kind of deal. So if I could encourage you in one thing, no matter what it is that you choose to do for lead generation, I recommend don't choose any more than 3 things, 3 max. I mean, 1 or 2 is good. And just do them every single day. Just do them and make sure that you are like getting the data, putting it into your database, consistently following up in a really intentional way, and measuring your results from the one thing that you're doing, and then do it for the entire year. Just show up because you will get there for sure. Anybody else?
So for the instance of cold calling, they said it sounded like they had a some sort of program that would pull the phone numbers for them. Was that true?
Yep, that is. I would recommend Mojo Dialer, which is what they were using. There's a lot of dialers and you can do the research or whatever, but Mojo is just like, it's really simple to use. You know, you don't have to worry about trying to figure out another software program. Like it is literally very easy. It's run on like a mapping software. So you literally can just look up an address and draw a circle around it, and it'll just pull all of the numbers that are not on the do not call list, because it scrubs them before it'll load your call list. And then you can set it up on a single line dialer or a triple line dialer and just bust through the phone calls. So yeah, Mojo, it's cheap. I think for an individual license, like you probably won't spend any more than 70 or 80 bucks a month. And then they have little add-ons that you can do for like expireds and for sale by owners too, to get call lists for like specific targeted things. But circle dialing is really where it's at because, and you can leverage and should leverage it. I don't know if you observed in the video when it showed them making the calls, what they were talking about. They always had kind of like a silly little reason why they were calling. It wasn't like, hi, I want to sell your house. Hi, I want to sell your house. It was like, you know, the one time the guy said, hey, you know, I'm sorry about the heat today, but we were just calling to XYZ. So, I mean, they were probably calling to give them information on like cooling centers or just a helpful, like, you know, thing. And then by the end of the phone call, I'm sure that they dropped like, hey, by the way, I'm glad you're doing well, the cooling information. And, you know, we do have a buyer looking in your neighborhood. And do you know of anyone looking to sell? Whatever. And then
okay. And sorry. Or does KW have scripts for cold calling? And if so, where can we find them?
Oh, good question. Throw it in the chat. Let's circle back around at the end of class and I'll show you where to get and download the script book.
There's some in the Ignite workbook, right? I think there is some.
There's some scripts in the workbook and all, but for me, and like when you are specifically doing certain types, what I did as a new agent was I went to that script book and I printed it and I put it into a 3-ring binder and I organized it based on the type of lead generation activity and like did the tabs so that I could just flip to it. And then I'd put it up on a stand by my computer and like just go. You could also do it digitally. Like he said, they had 3 screens and they pulled it up on a screen. So either way, But yeah, there's a whole script book and it's organized by what type of real estate activity you're doing. And then it has scripts for each situation. And it even gives like the response. So it'll give the script and it'll give a response of, you know, and there's a couple of responses, like if they say this, say this, if they say this, say this. So you can kind of just track right down the page. And it becomes pretty predictable. So I think it's a great resource and I don't mind showing you guys where that's at. Good question, by the way. So, and then the other thing I was going to point out before we move on to the next video is, did anyone remember the other conversation they were having, or the other strategy that they used when they were doing their calls?
They said, yeah, we're going to be in your area doing home evaluations.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another really good way. Like if you just pick an area and you're blitzing that area. So they just call every single person and say, hey, you know, we're in your area this week doing home evaluations. So if you'd like to sign up to find out how much equity you've got in your home right now, we'd love to swing by and do that for you. So that's a way to get appointments.
Okay, and so basically you and anyone that signed up for that, you would do a CMA for them and then give it back to them, or would you just give like your like a broker opinion?
When you are, okay, can you repeat the question? I didn't quite get the first end of it.
I was asking, when you're doing the evaluations, would you go to their house and then do a CMA and like email it back to them? Is that kind of what the idea is?
That is kind of the idea. Here's the thing, like this is just my own personal perspective on CMAs. And broker price opinions and CMAs are essentially the same thing. It's just where you're pulling comps and you're kind of giving them an idea. What I like to do is get a commitment to have that, you know, an evaluation done. And I will never do an evaluation on a house that I don't go and see in person, because there's no way to get accurate and relevant data. And it also gives me an opportunity to build a relationship with that person. So, and it's a good way to create an appointment. So yes, the phone call is that, and then it's like, great, when can I swing by? I want to just do a quick walkthrough, or we can do a video walkthrough. Like if they have FaceTime, you could always do a video walkthrough. But you know, get your eye on the house inside and out, ask questions about any recent renovations since they made their last purchase and upgrades, you know, countertops. And then you want to ask questions like about exterior condition, dry rot, soffits, how old the roof is, how old the heating system is. All of those things will kind of like go into your conceptualization of price. And then make sure that you ask them how much they still owe on the house. Because the real opportunity for them is to find out how much equity they have. And that's the variance between what they owe and what they could sell it for. And then what I do is when I have the CMA done, I let them know that I've done the work. And then I ask them if they have some availability to come to the office, or if I could swing by and review it with them, because I don't want to email it to them. That's my intellectual property. And we're uniquely qualified to give them that data. But here's the deal. If you email them a CMA, they're going to have the pricing information and they can just list it with whoever, or a for sale by owner. So like you have to, you know, make sure that you keep a hold of your intellectual property, and there's a way to present the data, and then you just don't leave the report behind. You know, you've had the conversation.
Oh, okay, got it.
Let them know that you maintain the report for the entire year. Just say like, you know, when we get into a real estate deal, I maintain records for 6+ years. This I'm going to maintain for a year, because of course it won't be relevant after that with just market changes and stuff, but I will be happy to do one for you yearly and we can stay in contact. How does that sound? And then they're like, great, because then they don't have to have something laying around the house. Of course, they're going to forget what you said, but you've just become their resource. So they're going to want to reach out to you again and again. And then of course, when I go there to review the information with them, I always ask them like, so now you've got the information and knowledge is power. Do you feel like the reason behind this was that you have some goals in mind that you could do with the equity? And we should probably talk about those goals so I can support you in that. So And, you know, that's like one of three things when you do that and you're talking about goals, they may want to do a home equity line of credit and start doing real estate investing on the side. And you can connect them with a great resource on how to pull the line of credit so that it's available to them when they need it. They may want to sell and pull the cash out and put it into a retirement account or downgrade or whatever. Like, you want to talk to them about their goals. So they're going to ask you about the number, but it's your job to dig deeper.
Yeah, and do you figure that most people that want you to come and evaluate your or their house have one of those goals in mind?
Yeah, always. And maybe they don't even know it yet. But if you bring it up and say, you know, most people that ask about their home value, you're kind of planting a seed. Okay. But you just say most people that ask about their home value, like, are just beginning the process of like figuring out what they can do to leverage the number one wealth building thing in America, which is real estate. So if you're sitting here with $200,000 in equity, I'm going to educate you while we're together on what you may be able to do with that. And part of that is just finding out more about what your goals are. So if you want to do real estate investing, I've got some great tools. You know, you can cash out, refinance that, and just have the cash available, or we can get you a line of credit that will always be there. So you can use it and pay it back and use it again. And that's a really great resource. So tell me about your goals. Were we talking about value because you're thinking about selling, or do you want to leverage your wealth in some other way? And then they'll just talk to you. Normally, by that time, you've built enough trust and you've shown up as a professional and given them great information. So, you know, it will happen pretty organically as long as you're asking the right questions.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else with any ahas or feedback about this video or the whole idea of calling around? Nope. Okay, cool beans. Current slide. Can you guys see the slides? Okay, good. I want to make sure we're on the right page. Okay, now we're going to go into a discussion about just some other various prospecting opportunities. One more video to watch. It's about 5 minutes, called Finding More Leads, which I think is this guy. Can you guys see the video on the screen?
You have even reached out via social media. But what lead?
Okay. Do you see it up there?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. This one is short and sweet, but do take notes.
Generation is your #1 job. You have started by calling your Mets, your sphere of influence. You have even reached out via social media. But what do you do when you run out of contacts? Where can you find more leads? There are many places you can find additional prospecting opportunities. Think about your children's sporting events or activities. And don't forget about your own organizations and clubs. Your children's school or PTA would be an excellent source for contacts, as well as your place of worship. Even your mechanic. They rely on referrals for their business just like you do. Using these and other sources for prospecting opportunities will lead to more contacts and referrals that will grow your business. More contacts and referrals will lead to more appointments, listings, and closings. This will help you meet and exceed your goals.
Okay, any ahas from that video? Anything in there that you're not already doing?
It's not an aha for me because I already knew it, but pretty much the very first thing they said is that you're not like really in the real estate business, you're in the lead generation business.
Yep, that's a really good point. Absolutely, because yeah, you can like be a realtor all day long and without leads, like you're sunk. You're done. So I can remember my first year at Keller Williams, the first year I was invited to Mega Camp, and it was my first opportunity that I heard Gary Keller speak. And he was up on stage and he said that, and I'm sure I heard it before, but it just didn't really sink in or hit home the same way as like, you know, this phenomenal real estate guru guy up on stage, and he was just like, you know, you are running two businesses. You're running a sales business completely on lead generation, and you're running a real estate business, and you cannot do the real estate business without the sales business. You have to do it first. You have to show up every day and do it first. And you know, the interesting thing about my time prior to real estate, I've been in sales and management for a lot of years. I worked for FedEx prior to this. And, you know, the one thing that I miss about corporate America is like when you're in management for a corporation, like there's so many people to delegate to, and it didn't cost me any money to delegate to them. It was costing the business money, but again, it wasn't my business. I was in charge of creating a profitable business unit and measured against the P&L and profit and sales volume and all of that. But if I wanted to hire more staff to up production, change my inventory levels, anything like that, I just basically made the decision and I did the things, and it just didn't mean as much because it wasn't my own money coming out of pocket. So when I got into real estate and I realized that essentially every single thing that I do for my business, I'm in charge of it. Like there's no one to delegate to unless you've got a checkbook. You can delegate to whoever you want and just write a check. But before you start making a lot of revenue, there's no space in your business model to delegate to anyone. So you really do have to think of it as running two businesses. And you're like in business development for the first half of the day, which is all the sales, pipeline, calls, just the stuff. And then the second half of the day, you're actually running, you know, a sustainable business and doing real estate activities. So yeah, really good point, Jesse. Thank you. Okay. Oh, my computer's frozen. So, okay. Hold on. Okay, there it is. Okay, so the next activity is another lead generation activity. This is a social media one. So we're going to turn to approximately page 26. I'm actually going to get out of the slide and go back into the manual. And we are about to wrap up for the day. But we're going to do a quick social media lesson. I know we talked a little bit about it earlier. Let me just get there. Social media. All right, I'm just going to read this. The best way to engage with a quality database is through social media. If you're like most people and use social media every day, you can think of it as a 365 touch system. Here are some ways you can interact with Mets and their sphere and position yourself as at the top of their minds. Okay, so for Facebook, it's where people go to connect with friends and family online. Most agents want to connect with friends and family of clients, and it provides trust, word of mouth, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so number one, you can post about your neighborhood. So show off geographic farm. This both markets your area to prospective residents and shows your passion and knowledge of where you're selling homes. For example, if there's a new community center being built, post about it, talk about it and the benefits of how it will make the lifestyle better for new and existing residents. Use images. When you update, images on Facebook are the most engaging. This is like outdated. I'm going to tell you that right now. Images are not the most engaging piece of content on Facebook. That was so 2 years ago. So, you know, video is where it's at. And actually right now, so, okay, it was video and then it was stories that like linked back to video. And now it's, can anyone tell me what potentially the most engaging piece of content?
Reels.
It's Reels. Yeah. They're juicing up Reels. It's the latest and greatest this year. So, yeah, do Reels. Absolutely. And you can do them like you can make like a little 15-second audio. You can record yourself for 15 seconds and make a video and then convert it to a Reel. You can like add the stamps and the little things. whatever you want to do, like add like a little piece of text on there. But it's literally 15 seconds. You can do reels. They're going to juice it up a ton. You could also create a 15-second story, and then before the end of the 24-hour period where it disappears, you can convert it to a reel, and then it'll just stay there, you know, in the deal. And you can repost reels as a post. So you can post a reel to your business page. You can post a reel to your regular page. So you can share the reel and it shows up in your feed. So there's like a lot of ways that you can kind of juice up the algorithm in relationship to content. So I'm going to replace this use images with, you need to be posting videos, and you can convert images to videos, but the best way to do it is like, just like you and I are face to face, and we've built a relationship throughout the day today, because here I am talking to you in real life, like a real person. So that is what I would encourage you to do on social media. And it's the pot calling the kettle black, because I absolutely hate being on video. I have to tell you, like, if you look on my business page, you will not find me on video very often. I do post video to my stories here and there, most of the time not looking at me, but I still do it. So we can all get brave together. It's a brave new world. Okay, so number 3, post about events in your neighborhood, show how wonderful your city and the culture is, post about local events in your town, all of the things. Congratulate new homeowners, engage with polls and surveys. Oh, this is really great, like on stories, because you can add the polls or a question. Let me see if it gives you the reason why. Polls and surveys provide an amazing way to create more engagement on your page, and have fun with your friends. You can use them to develop deeper relationships with your clients, get to know their likes and dislikes, and promote yourself as an agent who listens. You can even use them as a way to market your listings too. Okay, all of that's true, but I want to tell you, like, if we're just going to geek out on algorithm right now, the reason why you use polls and surveys, or the little like ask a question sticker that you can put on your story, is because like when the stories go through, like that's the first thing that pops up is a story or a reel. And when you engage with a question and they answer it, it actually comes to you via Messenger. And remember that thing I was talking about earlier when I said it boosts the algorithm for that person if they message you in Messenger. So like they respond to a poll quick and easy, but it starts a messaging conversation, and then you engage with them, like answer back, ask a question, like see how many times you can get them to respond before you wrap up the conversation. And it's going to really juice up the algorithm and get your content in front of them a lot more frequently. So that's the real why. Like show up as a professional and all that good warm stuff. But the real reason is because you're going to totally juice the algorithm for that person. Number 6, post your listings. Use Facebook to post your listings. Okay, they're talking about a golden rule here for social media, which is the 80-20 rule. It's that 80% of your content about life, make it about lifestyles, customer interests, and other updates. And then 20% should be content about your actual product. Yeah, I think, like, do not overthink this, you guys. Just post the hell out of social media and call it a day. Like, you know what I mean? And then make sure that you can try to get people to engage using Messenger. Okay, there's things about like tweeting and stuff. I'm going to encourage you to go through and read that. That's on page 33. I'm just going to skip over it because I don't even do Twitter. Pinterest is cool. I have not really utilized that in my like real estate world too much, but you know, have at it. And then other social media sites, LinkedIn. I do utilize LinkedIn. It's a really great way to do professional referral relationships. And so, yeah, I do that. YouTube, I've not done, but it's great, especially if you can come with some education. Of course, blogs, community websites, and then the one that's not on here that I would say you might want to think about adding, especially with Facebook's conversion to Reels, is TikTok. So you can figure out how to do a 15-second video that is engaging and educational, cross-post it, do TikTok, bring it over to Reels, like then you're in both spots. And, you know, if you guys want to build a sustainable business, you're looking to target an audience, you know, obviously TikTok users are much younger, but when you're talking generational buyers, Like it's Gen Xers, not Gen X, sorry. It's millennials and then the even newer Gen Z from like, so I'm a millennial. Help me out on the years, guys. People who were born like in the 2000s, essentially. But they're in their young 20s. Okay. So they're like the largest generation of home buyers entering the home buying market. And they are into building wealth. These guys are wicked smart. They're young and they want to buy real estate really young. So I would say, and they're in there, they're like using TikTok and you know, they're super savvy. So if you want to start using TikTok, I think it's not a terrible idea. And then you would start building a demographic that may not pay off for you for like 5 years, but if you're nurturing it, you'll have a really great following. And of course, early adopters, we all know the story about early adoption. So that is that. Your turn. So this is the activity. Social media. Pair up and plan and post to social media. Use the data from the MLS to construct a state, you know, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What I'm going to say is we're going to spend 10 minutes doing a social media post of some kind. Show of hands on who has content ready to go for their social page. Anybody? Okay. Yes, Michael Lowry has content. What? Hook us up, Michael Lowry. What do you have?
Well, in what means I subscribe to a whole bunch of different stuff. I've got Home ASAP, Outward or Outbound Engine. I'm doing a magazine. It's going to go to my sphere. It's a 48-page magazine. I can't really share that because that's a pretty detailed thing.
Yeah. Well, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you guys a quick cheat sheet just so that we can say we did the activity. And number one, if you have your own social content, do post it. Number two, if you all have Facebook, I'm assuming, I want you to navigate to a page for me and you can share this post from this page. This is my preferred lenders page. Her name is Tracy Bell. The name of the page is Tracy Bell. That's TRACY space BELLE, comma, CDLP NMLS. And then it's got like a number 2683, blah, blah, blah. So if you go to her page, you will see, can everyone see that? Ooh, that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a market update. I love these. Her and I developed this together. She's co-branded it. I had her keep the branding really general. So it's Keller Williams Capital City branding. I kind of wish it was Experience Brokerage Network now because I'm in this class and I don't think all of you are from Capital City. But if you post it to your business page, you'll be in compliance because it's one-click compliance. Okay, first of all, conversation around compliance. One-click compliance is just that they can tell what brokerage you're from within one click of the social post. So you're good. I would share it to your business page first and then share it over to personal. If you don't.
What page was that again?
What page was it?
It was Tracy. What?
Oh, here, let me, let me get into the chat and I'll type it in there. It is Tracy Bell, CDLP NMLS 268399. There you go. So that will take you to her business page. And she does these cool market updates. So what it has on it is, it has new listings and sold listings. This is just 1 week of market data. And she posts these every Tuesday. So it's new listings, sold listings, and then it's the list to sales ratio, which is how many homes were listed versus how many sold. That gives you basically the absorption rate for the week. And then it has the average sales price. it has the average days on market prior to pending. And then it has the list price to sales price ratio, which gives the information about like how competitive you have to be in your offers and what the average is. Right now, it's 100.8. And just 3 weeks ago, we were at 105. So you can see like how interest rates going up have hampered a little bit of the sales inflation just in the last few weeks. But we measure this weekly so that we can have good conversations with people who reach out to us. And then it's super easy. If you're posting them on your business page every week, you can always just refer back. Like I'll be on the phone all the time and I'll just pop onto my Facebook page and literally have a discussion around this little market update. It's really good info. So if you want, you can share that. That'd be the easy button for you. Let's see. What else can I give you? Really easy off the cuff to share today. So my business page is True North Broker Group. And I'm sure I have something you can share from my page. Let me just look. Oh yeah, I have this 2 days ago. I have this little like the success iceberg illusion one. That's kind of a pretty neutral post. Most of these are listings and stuff. Let me see. There's a market update. Oh shoot, I am 20 days late on posting my maintenance checklist. That's awful. I'm going to do that right now, and then you guys can share that too. I post these and I put them actually as my profile picture on my business page. And they are these cute little things that essentially is just a small checklist of 5 or 6 items that they can do for like home maintenance for the month. And I just change them out every month. Except for on the months that I completely forget to do it. I still have Marches up there. And then I told you guys, I do all of my marketing prep stuff in the 4th quarter. So I have like this little, I just keep it in like these folders on my phone where I've just put this in an album, and it's called the home maintenance checklist. And then that way it's just super easy to update from my cell phone. So that, you know, because I'm still running without a full-time assistant. I have a transaction coordinator, but I don't delegate. Most of the stuff I do on my own. So this month is April. So I will pick that one. Save. Did you guys find my business page? So you can totally share that out. It's branded to my business, but like I've shared, like I sometimes share content from other realtors' pages. Like I just shared this business article from one of my colleagues who works over at Berkshire and Hathaway. And I literally shared it. I shared it from his business page. And then I like rewrote some of the text on top. And I just said, thanks for the great resource. So-and-so from, you know, Berkshire and Hathaway Home Services. Guys, you've got to read this article, like whatever, it's great. And so I give credit where credit's due, but then I can have some engaging content without recreating the wheel as well. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And then your business partners always like it when you share their stuff out, and it kind of is a two-edged sword. So. Okay, put it in the chat if when everyone has shared at least one social post. Just say done. Or you can lie to me and just say done, even though you didn't. I'm okay with that too. Oh, Michael Lowry dropped out. He's going back. No. Mr. Lowry, I lost you. Did you get back in?
I just did. I don't know what the heck happened.
Okay, what was the last thing you remember me saying? I can refresh your.
Well, I'm trying to get to Tracy Bell, but I was having a hard time. So I found her regular website, but it seems that when I put my screen, this page down, it wanted to kick me off. I don't know why I was doing that.
Oh, well, that sucks.
So I'll minimize the screen again. And we're just trying to put that, you're trying to post that data, right?
Yep, and I would share it from her business page because again, like it juices the algorithm. The more shares it gets, that post will be viewed as popular, and like, so, you know, you'll get more engagement on it if you share it from her business page.
Okay, so I'm on her page now. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt everybody. I'm on her page. Where do I go to find that document or her daily post? Or
Yep, if you go to, there should be like a tab towards the top that says posts.
on her Facebook?
On her Facebook page. It can't be her personal Facebook page. It has to be her business page, the CDL.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. I was looking up her actual web page.
Oh, no, you want to be on her Facebook page.
Her Facebook. Got it. Okay.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I'm just clicked on posts. So
Okay,
it's a
perfect.
Willamette Valley market update.
Yes, and it should be the one that was posted like 23 hours ago or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you.
Yep. You guys, I think I'm going to get you out of here early. So remember, once you've shared your content, make sure and put done in the chat. Okay, one other, this is just like a bonus. This is not in the material, but since we're talking about social postings, this is part of my marketing plan for the year. It's launching in the second quarter. So I'm gonna say a couple of things. One, if you guys do not have an Etsy account yet, you should get one. There's some really like skilled content creators on Etsy that are specific to the real estate industry. And they have big clumps of like social posts that are already designed as templates. You can buy them for really cheap, you know, and you can get yourself, you know, 20, 30, 50, 100 posts already pre-done. And then the only thing you have to change, it comes to you as a Canva template and you just import it into Canva. Canva's super cheap to use, and you can do it from your cell phone or your computer. So it's pretty flexible as far as like very user-friendly and all that good stuff. But it'll come to you as a Canva link. You import the link into Canva and open it up. And then all you have to change is your logos. So you just dump in your logo and your name on there. Just brand it as simply as you can to remain compliant. And remember, compliance for social media is one-click compliance. So if you already have a compliance post pinned to the top of your feed, then the only thing that you need on your social posts is your logo, so that it can't really be like, you know, so it's unique to you. And then that is just like the easy button. And you can download them from Canva as JPEGs or PNGs or whatever, right to your phone, create albums. And then it just makes it very easy to just sit down in the morning with a cup of coffee and, post to your business page, share it to your personal page, share it to your story. And then what I would do is find the posts, like if you go in and find the templates in Etsy that specifically have to do with real estate knowledge, like it's vocabulary words essentially, but it'll say like, what is an earnest money deposit? And then it gives like the definition of what an earnest money deposit is. If you post that, then you can utilize that post as a talking point for a 15-second reel, and you can get yourself onto social media with a video and say, hey guys, I just posted to my business page. Every Tuesday I'm going to be posting, or every Wednesday I'm going to be posting something specific to a real estate transaction, and just to increase your comfort level and knowledge around some of these terms that you'll hear when you get under contract with a deal. Today's word is earnest money. This is what it means. It's a neutral third party escrow account. The money's held there so that it can be dispositioned correctly through the execution of a contract. And, of course, always reach out to me as your real estate resource. I'm here for you, blah, 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 like 15 seconds go. And then you can post that to a reel, and you've just done a whole bunch of social media activity off of like one concept, and you didn't have to pre-plan or do a whole bunch of prep work. It was just kind of ready for you. So good. Any questions around social media? No questions around social media. Okay, perfect. I'm just going to make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm going to go back to the slides. Okay, just a quote from Gary that says, my fear of failure was greater than my fear of lead generating. He obviously struggled with the same stuff that we all do. And this is just an encouraging word from him, essentially, be more afraid of not making money. So just to wrap up today, if you guys plan on attending all of the classes, you'll see in your Ignite manual that there's an action plan at the end of every manual that'll get you ready for the next class. And then I also showed you guys at the beginning of class how to get to the mission for the class. The whole purpose of the mission is that it's a checklist to do, and it's pre-work. So there's homework, that's the action plan. The pre-work is the mission. So just think of it like you're on a mission and then you have an action plan. So you want to download the mission first, do that work the day before class. That way, if you get stuck or you have questions, you have a captive audience to be able to ask your questions while you're in class. And make good notes. And then, it just kind of forces you through the actionable implementation of getting your business started. So that's kind of how I would approach that. Recall and remember, okay, that's just us talking more. And I feel like we've done a really good job of talking throughout the class. So I'm skipping it. I'm also skipping the ahas because I think we've done that at various stages throughout the class as well. Does anyone have anything that they'd really like to celebrate before we go? Achievements for the week? Any questions that are bumbling around in your head as an opportunity to learn something new? Either one of those. Super great. Like, this is a moment where I will celebrate with you, or I can teach you something if you've just got a random thought. Okay.
I've been working on my fear of getting over cold calling people. I called up some for sale by owner listings in my area and the ones that have been on the market for a while, and pitched to them a little bit, which was really uncomfortable for me.
Yeah. And so this is a celebration because you got outside of your comfort zone and did something new. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. I was like, okay, was this a question or a comment? That's huge. That's a really huge deal. How did it feel after the initial uncomfortableness?
Well, okay, the first 20 seconds of the first phone call was really rough. But by like the third or fourth or fifth phone call, I was kind of getting into a groove and realizing it is not nearly as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah. Well, good. That's excellent. And, the one thing I would say about all of these opportunities for lead generation is, you learn as you go and you get onto those calls and, it sears it into your brain. Like whichever way it goes, it's essentially seared into your brain, like what you could have done differently, or even if you don't know, but you're like, God, that was so awkward. I definitely need to figure out something to go in that space. That is not what happened on my last call. So then you can kind of go back to the script book and start practicing and getting into a routine with a business partner or your coach. And really like start working on some of that stuff. I did promise you guys that I would show you where to find the script book. So let's do that together real quick. And that's if I can. I'm going to try. I don't know if I still have the correct page up. Oh, Lordy here. Let's see. Okay, let me just see if I can do it here. Can you guys still see my screen? Hello? Am I muted?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see it? Okay. Oh, it's gonna make me log back in. Okay, guys, I might not remember how to do this, so I'll try. Please work. Okay, we did it. So if we go to the search bar and type in Ignite, same way we got to the manual, right? So we typed in Ignite, scrolled down, Ignite Classic. We're going to click on course material. And I hope I don't make myself out to be a liar here. I think that I am not going to do that, but we will see. Click on student resources. Additional resources. Let's see here. Ignite calendar, 10 things every real estate agent should know about mortgage lending. Ignite toolkit, script, Ignite scripts. Okay, on the very bottom, on the left-hand side, it says Ignite scripts. If you click that, you'll get this script book. It's 64 pages of various scripts. You'll see in the table of contents, it has the new to real estate, new to Keller Williams, reminder that you're in real estate, new to the area, calling for referrals. There's a whole section on for sale by owners. You're asking for the appointment to see their home, touring the property, building rapport in a relationship with them, focusing on saving money by working with a good agent. So these are all the for sale by owner scripts. Here's a whole section on expired scripts. Contacting specific clients. Here's a section for rental scripts, newlyweds, calling personal and professional service industries. There's scripts for working with sellers, and it goes through listing presentation, asking for the appointment, goals for today's listing appointment, uncovering priorities, delivering the 10++ experience, why Keller Williams, what are you going to get from me, what's the home selling process, how to get to a smooth closing, 3 factors for getting your home sold, pricing to sell, comparative properties, the whole 9 yards. There's a script for every single conversation you're going to have with a seller. So here's the seller objections. These are awesome. We need an agent with more experience. We need to think it over. Another agent will charge less. Why won't you reduce your commission? Why should we pay? Blah, blah, blah. All of that. Scripts on price.
This is awesome.
Oh yeah, this is like phenomenal. Blow your freaking mind. Like I'm serious about printing this out. I mean, for me, it just depends on what kind of a learner you are. But for me, printing it out was huge because then like I could go through and really highlight things that I thought were super important or things that I was running into frequently. And then I would also like go back if I practiced a script enough times and it was still feeling awkward, like it wouldn't quite flow right, I would just go back and cross out the couple of words that I was always tripping on and just like replace them with words that were natural to my vocabulary. So you kind of start making them your own, because this gives you the bones. And like, you know, when you read through the script, you can see which items you should not remove because they're the actionable items that actually get you an end result that you want, versus the fluff that may or may not sound like you, and you can replace it with your own style and cadence. So that would be my coaching around this script book and how to use it. And then you can also do all kinds of things. Like you can create a script practice night at your market center and get a bunch of agents together and like we used to cut these into scripts. And then we'd put buckets for the various topics. And then we just essentially have to pull a script out of thin air and like start from that spot. And then it'd be like memorizing, you know, so there's all things you can do to get better at, you know, talking around all of the things. So you can see there's a section here for CMAs and pricing. There's a section for pricing objections, staging objections, scripts for working with buyers, how to close for a buyer agreement, which is so important in this market. Handling objections, presenting the buyer's needs analysis, 3 questions deep, 5 must-haves, whatever, all the things. It's just like so much in here. I probably do not use all of these scripts still to this day, and I've been doing this for 6 years, but I do use a lot of them. And they've just become a part of me, like how I talk to my clients. So this is it. This is your resource, guys. You know what I'm going to do too, just for those of you who didn't follow along the breadcrumb trail, and since I know that this file storage thing works, I'm going to pop this into the chat and let you guys copy and paste it onto like a Word doc or whatever you've got, or your notes on your phone, because once we shut off the class, this won't be available anymore. So go ahead and go into the chat and grab that link. That's the link to the script book. Okay, that was your bonus material for the day. Anybody else want to hit me with questions? We've got 10 minutes, or I can give you 10 minutes of your life back.
I just want to say thank you for that, for the script book. That's very helpful.
Welcome. It was super fun to meet all of you guys today. Thanks for having me in.
I haven't caught your name yet because I got here late.
Oh, haha, loser. No, I'm just joking. My name's Shauna. I'm in your market center.
Nice to officially meet you, Shauna. I don't think we've met yet, have we? I've met a lot of people lately, but.
I don't think so. Maybe, but I'm not there very often. So I work from home a lot because I have kids.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah. So
well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks for all the helpful information today. It was really good.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shauna.
Yep. Thank you. Yep. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you later, Mike.